and all of that. So I'm going to hand over to Nancy now to do her thing. I'm also here to learn. I have my pen and jotter write it with me. So Nancy, over to you, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so let me turn on my camera. Hopefully my network is good enough. Okay, so good afternoon everyone and thank you for the introduction, Ayuade. I'm going to share my screen now to make my presentation. Okay, so please confirm you can see it in full screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so we are going to discuss briefly on how you can participate and most likely win hackathons so that you can be able to improve your career growth, right? So that's majorly what we are going to be doing today. And I'm going to take you through a brief journey of the first few hackathons I participated in. But before that, just in case some of us don't know the meaning of hackathons, it's just basically competitions that you participate in. It can either be virtual, where you can participate online, or physical, depending on how the hackathon was set up by the organization. So my first ever hackathon was when I was in the university. I think I was in third year of fourth year because I'm a pharmacy graduate. So when I was studying pharmacy in UNN, and the faculty was hosting a hackathon during one of their symposiums. So the hackathon prompt was for us to just pitch an idea that can solve a healthcare problem. And I remember when they gathered us in a class, first of all, they asked if you're interested, you indicate. So I browsed about what hackathons was, and I don't really understand the concept fully that time about like, okay, let me try, let me join and see how it works. And that was how they gathered us in the class. They shared some pieces of paper so that we can pick randomly the topics that will be assigned to our team that will bring up an idea on. So I remember mine was around drug abuse. So we are expected to bring up an idea on how to solve drug abuse in the community. And I collaborated with my team member and we pitched this idea and we came second place and we won 15,000 naira. Yeah, maybe small, but I mean that's just like a huge accomplishment for me because that was the first time I was participating in a competition, well, in a hackathon, and I came second place. So after that, I started to start exploring hackathons. I started researching further, and then I came across one that is called Mark Hack. So this one, I saw it in a particular marketing community where we are expected to still pitch an idea, but this time is an idea that is around artificial intelligence that solves marketing problems. So I've even I think how I got my team members that time was I started reaching out to people that I knew. I was like, do you know anybody that knows artificial intelligence? I want to collaborate with them on this hackathon. And that was where I met my mentor that is really, really good in machine learning. So we collaborated with some other team members too, and then we came fourth place. Fourth place, but we won $2,000. I think that was where it's the whole excitement came up, and I was like, this hackathon, I'm going to keep going and going and going. And then when I was during this whole period for this hack, I was more of a product manager because I did not still understand how data works during that period. That was actually the first time I was hearing about artificial intelligence. So after the hackathon, I started researching more about artificial intelligence. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll try doing something like AI product management. But then at some point, my interest shifted to data science. And that was when I said, okay, let me start with data analysis. And I learned Excel. So after I learned Excel, I saw another one that they call Numerics Challenge by Chloe Morgan.
I don't
And
see for them for my house. This man don't man.
This one na meeting.
People that are talking to you.
This one na meeting. This one.
Meeting. Forever. Oh. Meeting. Forever. 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 Meeting. Fo
Yeah, you can continue, Nancy. Sorry about that.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So during the numerics challenge, that was when I was still learning Excel. And during that period, when I saw the hackathon, it was more of a datathon. That's a data competition. So after 1 month of learning the Excel, I decided to get into the numerics challenge. And that was where they expected us to demonstrate data storytelling skills and data analysis skills. And again, that was the first time I was hearing about data storytelling. So I think this was actually the first challenge that really stretched me to my limits, because hearing about data storytelling was one, and then trying to apply the data analysis skills that I've learned within just 1 month. That was like two skills I needed to apply that were really new to me. So for the data storytelling skill, this main challenge was within 1 month. But then for me to learn data storytelling skill, I had to research really well. And then I came across a book, Effective Storytelling by Brent Dykes. I remember very well the book was about 300 plus pages, and I kind of read the book in less than 1 month, or I think in 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks, so that I can be able to do this hackathon. So after I read about different techniques of applying data storytelling and applying data analysis skills, and then I participated in this numerics challenge, I came first place. And although there was this particular prize for it, but I did not really get the prize due to some issues. But this was actually the challenge that, or the hackathon that pushed me towards my limits, and it made me to understand data very deeply, even though I was early in the data space. And that from there I started exploring different data hackathons, mostly towards the side of data, because I was like, okay, let me just niche down to just data. And that was how I kept going and kept going through different hackathons. Some I won, some I did not win, but all the same, I always know that I learned one or two new skills in each hackathon that I always participate in. So that's more like a brief journey through some of the hackathons that I have participated in. So my next outline now will be why participate in hackathons. I know the first thing is free money, but I'll say that it's not exactly free, because you have to sacrifice your time. But then even though you're sacrificing your time, you're still learning something new. So I mean, I'll still call it somehow free money, but yes, that free money is always there, and it's something that should encourage you, especially maybe if you're still trying to find your ground in your career and you don't have a job yet. So participating in this hackathon is more like you're applying the skill that you're currently learning. And even though you don't have a job, you're still trying to get that money from the competitions that you are participating in. So it's more like a win-win for you actually. Then networking, I can't emphasize enough, or let's say overemphasize on how many persons have met because I've participated in different hackathons. The professionals I've met, the experts that I've met, they've connected me to other experts, some professors, some professionals that are far, far gone in their space, just because I participated in hackathons with them. So networking is also very, very important, and I know that I've gained a lot from it. And career growth. For career growth, one thing I do when I participate in hackathons is I try to think of something that most of the participants will not do, and then I do it. So when I do something like this, most times it leads me to start learning something new, maybe a new skill, or learning how to use a new tool. And this actually helped me to advance my career. Now, another example of this is for one of the job interviews that I've participated in, or that I've attended for a contract role that I got. The interviewer was actually emphasizing on a particular hackathon project I worked on that I added to my CV. So when I added this to my CV, and he started asking me several questions on how I was able to apply this, um, apply what I did in that particular project, because it was more like applying analytics engineering to conversational business intelligence tool. So he was more interested in that, and I'm answering the questions that he asked me in that interview actually skilled me through that contract role. So that's also another example of the career growth in terms of participating in hackathons. So that hackathon that he asked me about, we did not actually win. We did not come top 5 or top 3. But then that gave me the contract role I needed. So most times, not just about I must win this, I must win this. If I don't win it, then let me not participate at all. No, participating is enough for you to is enough to give you more opportunities that you even imagine. So that's also another benefit. And then it boosts your resume, just like the example I mentioned, where I got the contract role because of the hackathon I referenced to my CV. Then you gain soft skills. Now, based on the analysis that Ayoade showed briefly before I started this presentation, okay, I saw that most people that actually registered for this are beginners. Now, if you're a beginner, I understand that you might not have an experience yet. So most times when recruiters interview you, they'll start asking you instances on how you've applied soft skills. But the question is, how can you know that you've applied soft skills when you don't have an experience? That's where you start referencing the experiences you've had in the hackathons you've participated in. I'll give an example. I got into an interview for a global brand actually. I don't want to mention the name, but it's for a global brand. And the interviewer asked me about how I was able to collaborate with people in solving a problem. In short, most of the questions that he asked me regarding soft skills, I always referenced the hackathons experiences I had because I mean, I did not have any other experiences aside that. So I had to just always reference the hackathon experiences I had, and that's actually scaled me through the interview. Although I was able to get the job, but at least I went through the final stage of that interview just because I was able to reference the hackathon experiences I had. So this actually helps. Based on the experiences you've had, you gain soft skills, communication, collaboration, problem solving, critical thinking. And sometimes recruiters want to actually ask you questions about it to know how you've been able to apply these soft skills that they think that you've gained. If you don't have any experience, then referencing the hackathon experiences that you've had will actually go a long way in scaling you through your interview. So that's another benefit of participating in hackathons. So now, how to participate in hackathons? First of all, you have to identify your skills. When I started with the first hackathon when I was in school, I actually did not even know the skill I was applying. I would say problem solving, and then my health domain knowledge. But aside that, there was nothing else, right? But then when it came to the hackathon, because I was gathering team members, if a team wants to join me for hackathon, they'll ask me, okay, what are you offering? So that I'll know if my skill and your skill align in this hackathon. And that's where it's important for you to start identifying your skills. So at that time, because I was not deeply into tech at that time, I just told them product management. I did not even know the meaning of that. I just knew that you're managing something. So I told them product management, and I was able to identify product management as a skill as at that time. And that was how I was able to participate in the hackathon with them. If they did not see that I am offering any skill, nobody will be willing to form a team with me. So you need to actually identify a skill so that at least your team members that you'll be joining, you know that, okay, you're valuable enough to form this team and we can be able to achieve something in this hackathon. So that's one. Then number two, you need to identify hackathons. I'm going to, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to show a list of some hackathons that you can actually opt into. So I think that solves that. But one way you can also identify hackathons is to join communities. First of all, identifying your skills also helps you to know what kind of communities that you join. If you're into data, then you are going to be interested in communities like data engineering community, if you're a data engineer, young data professionals, if you're a data scientist or data engineer or data analyst, women in data Africa, if you're a female and you're any data professional at all. So if you're into blockchain, then you have to find your blockchain communities. If you're into product management, you have to find your product management communities. Just find communities where you see your other professionals within the industry. That will help because when opportunities are being thrown towards that particular skill sets, you can easily find them in that community, including hackathons. Then, number three, you form a team. When you finally see a hackathon that you want to participate in, the next thing is to form a team. And this is optional because sometimes some hackathons will not necessarily tell you to form a team. Some of them can tell you that you can actually work alone, while some of them you can form a team. So it depends on the hackathon. But then forming a team is actually important because it puts you in this environment that you can work with people and collaborate and improve your communication skills. Yes, so that's three. Then the next thing is to register for the hackathon. If you formed a team or you're registering yourself, you register for the hackathon. Now, number five, you bring your A game. After this part, I'm going to show you how you can bring your A game into hackathons. And number six, deadlines are very, very important. If you don't make your submission before the deadline, then you just wasted your time in the hackathon because the judges are not going to see your submission. So deadlines are really important. Now, how to win hackathons? You have to be really creative. Like I mentioned before, when I look at the hackathon prompts, I try to think of what most participants would do, and then I do that. I'm going to give an example of one I participated in and won with my team member. So that was the Women in Data Africa Hackathon, and they wanted us to predict the likelihood. No, they wanted us to make analysis of data in sports, something like that. So I knew that many teams will not go through the route of predicting if, excuse me, if a team, excuse me, if a team is going to
Yeah, do you want to take quote and we can just pause?
sorry, if a team is likely to win or lose, right? So when they told us to make analysis of data in sports, and I thought of what many teams will not do. And so my team member and I went through the route of predicting if a team is likely to win or lose the tournament. So that actually helped us because that was the unique thing. Many teams did not do that and became first place in that hackathon. So that's why you need to be really creative in whatever you're doing. You need to think of something that many people will not do and go through that route. Then also you need to pay attention. Every single word on the hackathon instruction is important. Don't neglect it. Make sure that you read every single word on the instructions. Pay attention to little things, judgment criteria, even the judges. Sometimes you have to research the judges to know what they're interested in, so they are going to do something along that area, because at least they will be more aligned to what you are doing. So you need to research on the judges. You need to look at the judging criteria too. So that's why you need to pay attention to every single word on the instructions. Then also you need to have diverse team members. It's somehow that you have two product managers in your team. I mean, why will you be having two product managers in your team when you need to have, or when your prompt requires that you build a website and the website has to be functional? Then you now have two product managers in your team and then one front end person. Maybe they even say that the max of the team members should be three. Here's your backend engineer. How will your website be functional? So you need to think of the hackathon prompts. You need to think of the particular solution that you want to offer, and then you need to ensure that your team members have the skills that will contribute to accomplishing the solution that you want to profile in it. So as team members is very important. No need to be having the team members that have repeating skills. It won't help you. Challenges of participating in hackathons. One, unserious team member. This is actually the most common challenge that I had in several hackathons I've participated in, where you team up with somebody and then they don't have the same energy that you have. So most times it can be tiring when you experience something like that, but I mean, you don't have to give up. Sometimes, because of this, I was not even able to make submissions for the hackathons because of things like this. But if one doesn't go through, it doesn't mean that you should just stop there. You need to keep going, right? So, but then to avoid this problem, just ensure that you take team selection serious. You must have been seeing somebody on social media that is doing well, maybe based on their branding and all. So when you see that person, you reach out to that person. That's why it's good to start making friends. If you must not make friends because you want to start participating in hackathons, just start connecting with people. By the time you connect with people and have good network around you, it won't even be difficult to find hackathon team member. But then you need to ensure that you have serious team members if you want to scale through a hackathon that requires teamwork. Then unmet deadlines, this is when things can choke you and you cannot deliver. Most times this happens when we overthink a lot of things and the solution is now looking so bulky and cannot be accomplished within the period of the hackathon. So don't be tempted to do this. This is where idea overload comes in. Don't be tempted to overthink and have one bulky solution that won't be able to scale through the timeline. Have something simple that solves the solution that is also very creative. So you don't need to have plenty things just because you think you can win with that plenty features in one solution. No, have something simple, can solve a problem, and is very, very creative. Then, so these are the list of the upcoming and ongoing hackathons. So the Zindi hackathons, they usually have periodic hackathons for machine learning professionals. You can just get on your browser, type Zindi, and you are going to go to the website and you see a list of hackathons that are currently ongoing. Then there's also the Airbyte Monado hackathon that I'm also participating in now. And the deadline is January 15th. It might be near now, but I mean, you can still do something before January 15th if you're fast enough. And then there's the Paradigm DBT Challenge, right? This one is ongoing now. And the deadline is February 1st, 2025. So you still have enough time to participate in this. And this is for data professionals too. Then there's the Dev Post Hackathons. This one has series of hackathons now. You can just go there and you see a long list of hackathons that are ongoing. And it's for any kind of professional at all. So it's not limited to just data. So yeah, you can just go there and look for your own skill set, see if you can form teams and start working immediately. Then there are conference-based hackathons. That's hackathons during conferences such as Blockchain UNN, Data Fest Africa, Blue Chip Technology Hackathons. So during these conferences, right, they usually have hackathons before conference dates. So you can just check their regular dates of their conferences and bookmark them so that you can check for their hackathons before the conferences. Then there's the Open Source Hacktoberfest. This one is mostly for open source tools. And they usually have their own hackathons every October in the year. So this Hacktoberfest is more like they'll tell you make series of contributions to their open source tools, and then anyone that has the most creative contribution wins the hackathon, something like that. So what you can do is, first of all, you browse for open source tools that are still within your own industry. If you're a data professional, you can browse for open tools like Airbyte DBT, there is MindDB. You can browse for things like that. If you're into blockchain, you browse for open source tools in blockchain. Then you search for their Hacktoberfest competitions, and then just ensure that you check within that before October or within October on if their Hacktoberfest program has started, and you can people enter the competitions for their open source tools too. So that's more like a short list of this. But most likely, if you check for dev post and Zindi, you are going to see a lot of hackathons that are ongoing now. You can just type for dev posts on your browser or Zindi, and you see a long list of ongoing hackathons now. So I think that will be the end. Thank you for listening. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Medium. I write some articles now, and you can ask your questions now. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. I love how short this is and straight to the point. Uh, I have like two questions, but let me first pick the question from the chat. And this is coming from Rakia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. The person is asking if you know any related hackathons. And can you like walk us through maybe how to apply for one hackathon, what to look out for, and all of those things, so that it's not just all theory that we have seen. And this person is using WDB. Is that WDB logo? Yeah, I think it's WDB.
Okay, so for health-related hackathons, health-related, there are actually some hackathons that are a mix of health and tech. I think I've seen one that requires you to apply AI to the health industry, but I've forgotten the name. But if you check DevPost and Zindi, I'm sure you see something like that related to health. So most times, all these online hackathons will require you to apply tech to health. So you need to be ready, even though maybe you're a health professional, you need to start checking your network to see if you have tech people around you. So that by the time you see a hackathon that requires health and tech, you know that you are bringing your health knowledge, the person is bringing their tech skills, and you guys can bring something and form something together. But if you check dev posts, you definitely see something related to health tech as in their list of hackathons. Then for taking you through how to register for a hackathon, okay, let me share my screen. Maybe I'm going to use, let me just take you through the dev post. So this is the hackathons page of dev post, right? So this is the list. This one is ongoing now. This is 20 days left. So you can just filter for online because most of them are foreign, so you cannot be traveling unless they're paying your flights. But it's rare. Give me a few minutes, please.
Yes,
Can you hear me now?
yes, we can.
Yeah, sorry, I have cold, that's why. Okay. Okay, so these are the list of hackathons, right? And if you filter for online, you see, you can also filter for upcoming or open or the ones that ended. So you see that this one is 20 days left. This one is 2 days, 9 days. So you can scroll through to see anyone you're interested in. See now for data people, you have tab here. This one is for those that are into all this metaverse 3D um, industry. So that's this is healthcare. So for the person that asks for health, this is health. So you can click it open. So you click join hackathon. I think I have an account with them. Can't remember my question. Can't remember my password. Okay. So I'm in now. Now look at, you have the option to work solo or look for teammates. Now this teammates now is, if you click this one, people that have registered for the hackathon before, they will then form a team with you on this platform. But then if you already have a team, which I always recommend, it's best to form team with people you know than to form team with people you don't know that might not bring in the same energy that you have. You click this. So if you want to work solo, click this. Now you can find teammates. So if you have a team member, you can actually invite them. So you can search for their name. So that means they'll have to join. They'll have to be on dev post too. So they'll have to also create an account like I created. Then you now search for them. You must have their username. I don't know anybody on dev post again, so I can't search for somebody here, but you will search and then add them as a team member. Then when you want to submit a project that your team has worked on, you then create. You create projects. So it depends on the prompt of the hackathon. Depending on how it will be, when you read the instructions, then you now know what to submit. If you want to read the instruction, you come to overview. So if you watch the YouTube video, this has the instructions, right? And then there's also the text. So you ensure that you read everything. And then when you form your team and you add them to this project, then you then create the project and submit. So whatever you're submitting, it depends on what the hackathon is telling you to submit, right? So that is that's it for this one. Now let's say paradigm DBT challenge. This one is ongoing now. So again, you read the instruction, how it works, you sign up. They already mentioned the tools they need you to use: Snowflake, Paradigm, Light Dash, GitHub. You have all these things in place. I think this one, you don't necessarily need a team. You can actually work alone. Then those that you can participate and tools that you use. And then the judging criteria. This is important because this will help you to know what your project should have. Now, one thing I'll tell you, this business email is important. If I just add this, they are not going to send you the prompt of the hackathon. You need to add a business email that is at your company name or .com, something like that. So this business email is important. So I can't register for this now because I have to add my business email. But yes, that's that. Then the company name and then your LinkedIn link. And then you join. So when you join, they'll send you the prompts to your email. And then you know the next steps going forward. Through that email, they'll start sending you updates on when you should what you should submit and how you are going to submit it. So that's why you need to register first. And this one does not require a team, it's just a standalone project. So that's just a brief.
All right. Thank you so much, Nancy, for walking us through that, right? I myself am on Dev Post, and there is, if you're a technical writer, there are also technical writing hackathons that you can also apply for. They sent me one of recent, and I think that one is very straightforward. And what you have to do there, if I remember vividly, is to write something about yourself. I think that was what the Ola cutting is all about. Let me see if I can share my screen and just show that. They just want you to write something about yourself, and that's just it, right? So if you're a technical writer, you can also look into hackathons, right? It's not domain. Okay, I think this one is dev too. Not, yeah, this one is dev too. Right, this one is dev too, not dev post. Right? So here too, you have challenges. These are also hackathons, basically, right? Where you can, I think this is, yes, this is actually, I think this is this one here. There is this one in January to February, and what's not. Okay, yeah, they will give you by January. It's not money, but it's money that I mean, I think that was why I didn't participate. Right. So as a technical writer, you can also look for hackathons that you can sign up for, and then also, win some money on the other side, basically. So for the last question that we have here, I'm just going to take it so that we can give Nancy some space to like catch her breath. So as a beginner data analyst, would it be okay to participate in hackathons? My answer is capital yes. And the reason I'm saying is capital yes is because you are the one that knows your skill set. You are the one that can size yourself up. Oh, can I participate in this thing? Sometimes it might not even be about the money. It might be about the experience. Take note that the title of this webinar is to build the experience that you need. Nancy have made a lot of reference to projects that she implemented in one hackathon, being referenced to by the interviewer, right? It happens a lot. Sometimes that's the experience that people want to key in, even though you did not win, right? They still key into that. Sometimes I also still talk about the hackathon that I won that made me land my first data analyst role, which is, I think is a research analyst, but it's still analyst anyways. So I also still talks about it once in a while if I see that the role is tilting towards the need for me to talk about it. So it's not always about the money. You can also use it to build the experience that working your normal ChatGPT generated data sets projects might actually not be able to give to you. Hackathons can be a way that you solidify all of your experiences and whatnot, right? And that would be all from my end. Thank you so much, Nancy, for doing this with us. I don't know what is it with the guys that I'm bringing, like 2 days to the event. Something happened. Same thing with Bankole. He was also not feeling fine. This time around, Nancy. The next person, I hope the next person will not fall sick. So, Nancy, thank you so much for doing this with us. This year, I'm looking at getting into Google Season of Docs, actually, right? That's another. It's Google Season of Doc is not actually like a technical. It's not hackathon, but it's it's a way of actually making money. So please keep it coming. Let's thank Nancy for sharing her idea with us. How she started from 15,000. Now she's looking at bagging 10K. I hope I will collect my own share when she wins that money. So yeah, guys, we'll be closing the curtain here, and some of us signed up to receive update about the upcoming webinars and all of that. I think the next one is going to be about data. I can't really remember, but once this recording is available, I'll share it alongside the next webinar that is going to hold. And please keep sharpening your skills. Very important, because the data space, or whichever career path you are picking, a lot of people are coming in there now. So everybody wants to be a data analyst. Everybody wants to be a data engineer. Don't worry, Ogunsheye, everything that Nancy has listed in our slide will be shared along with the recording, so that you guys can have access to it and, consume the content better at your own pace. All right. I'll be signing off now. I remain your host, Ayade Bell. Bye, everybody.